Yeah.
So VPC is the called the virtual private cloud. So how it works? You can say Amazon Virtual Private Cloud enables you to launch Amazon Web Services into the virtual network that you have defined. It is something like you are creating your own network, own everything, like your own data center. Okay, it is the similar benefit. How it is, a VPC resembles on-premises private data center or private corporate network. So what is the private network? It is called your private and public subnet, scalable architecture and ability to extend corporate home on-premises network to the cloud if it was the part of your network. So how it is all these things? You just think you are in office. So how our office works? So office, this is your data center. Let's say your complete office. The servers are there, right? Let's see, this is first server, second server, third server. So this is the workstations, like you sit, your colleague sits, everyone is here. So one IP you will get on your laptop, one IP is already static IP is here on these servers, right? So you can connect from here to here without any public means internet, right? So in the office
Yeah.
environment you can connect all your servers in your private network. So this whole picture you can say VPC, virtual private cloud, means everything is internal or private network. Now the come is when you want to connect to the Google. So how that works? From your laptop, it request go to you can say your local DNS, right? So it will check into your system what is your routing table. Means this network, this particular your laptop will go where. So that's called your is a routing, means it is always defined. If you see right now I will show on my laptop, share screen. Let's see, this is my Mac laptop, right? You can see the terminal.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay.
It's very huge.
uh,
Somehow the resolution is very high.
okay, should I reduce?
No, it's like very. I mean, some issue with the sharing, I guess.
Oh, so should I make it little bigger?
No, it's already bigger. I can see. It's fine. Yeah.
Okay.
This is good action.
Okay, so then if you see here, if config your this is you will get a IP address of your laptop, right? Like I am getting this IP. So now if I'm ping here from google.com, it is pinging, right? See, this is the public IP. My laptop has the private IP. How it is reaching there? So here the picture of will come of your routing table. How the route will go from this system to the google.com. So one of the option simple you can see here, route hyphen n. Okay, netstat hyphen rn. Yes. So here if you see here, this is your default gateway, means default.
Yes.
Yes, it will your routing table, and by default all the traffic will go here 192.168.0.1. Got it? That is your default network. By default every all the packets will go here. This routing, this particular gateway will decide next hop where it will go. If you now run the command traceroute google.com, see here, it will go to Google. For this is the Google IP. So how it went? So for this one, it from my laptop, it is firstly go to the ACT corporate broadband. This is my broadband. So this is gone to this one. Next, in this particular system, they have giving the next routing is this. next is this, after that this, and then it reach to the google.com. Means every particular system will tell where you go. Okay, in a single easy term, I can say you what is the benefit of this routing table. Let's see, is a very means layman language I will going to tell you. You are here in Bangalore right now. Okay, so in Bangalore, why it is not coming? Just a minute. Okay, ठीक. So let's say you are here in Bangalore. From Bangalore, you want to go. You want to.
Something wrong with the.
Yeah. Let's see. From Bangalore, you want to go to the Chennai, right?
Mhm.
So what is the simple route is you are from here you are going to Electronic City to Hosur to Salem to Chennai road. Let's see, simple route. Okay.
Okay.
So every way there is a address. Yes, next you have to from here. Once you reach here, it will tell you now go to Hosur. Hosur is telling to go to Salem. Salem is telling now route to the Chennai. But if this route is not there, might be your packet is something like you can understand it will firstly go to the Hyderabad. From Hyderabad it will go to the Bhopal. From Bhopal it is somebody telling okay you go back to the Pune to somewhere else, and then it is reaching here. It's again reach there because in internet once packet will go it will find the destination. Okay, but it will more and more it will take a more distance travel to reach up to the packet or means destination.
Okay.
This is called the routing table. Means when you now talk about the you know about the routers, right?
Yeah.
So what is the benefit of router? So in our home, if I'm talking about, so there is a this is my PC. This is my PC. So this PC is connected with my broadband, right? So
Yeah.
for me, my broadband is my you can say it is my router. It will work as a router. Means my I'm in my system. Whatever the IP I'm giving 10.1. If you see here into you can see this whatever the pictures I have made on the screen.
Yeah.
You can see that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can see this again terminal, right?
On terminal, I see the pictures on top of terminal.
Yes. So in terminal, if you see here again, I will show you. 1 minute. See here. Now let me clear everything. Okay. If you see, this is IP, this default destination or gateway, this is my broadband IP, means gateway, that is my broadband, right? 192.168.0.1. So every machine, they have in the routing table, they have the gateway. Okay. In your company also, this is always happen from your laptop. It is always interact with your internal network whenever required. But when you access something outside, right? So it will go a internet link or you can say a router from where the traffic will go outside world. Okay. So today is the VPC. We will go in means into this VPC. We will talk about all these things. Okay. How the different subnets we can create, how we can talk in that. Okay. So that is all about the virtual private cloud. So on the cloud itself, you create your own network. So what is the necessity to create your own network onto the cloud? So let's take an example of wait a minute. I'm stop sharing. I'm just share the whole screen. Wait a minute. Might be it will give you the better. Okay, you can now what you can see.
Your PPT.
Okay, so in PPT I will open this particular image. Now see if it is some problem is there or okay. Now I think here it will work. So what is the necessity of the VPC? Now think about this is your complete cloud. Okay, in this one you have create a web application, like this is your web server, you have your own company. In this particular is your website is there. So every outside network from here, it is all hits are coming here, right? Outside world. In this application, it is connected with your, let's say, database. This is your database machine. Okay, but it is on local network. Why it is not required to move to the internet, right? Because this is only required them by this web application. So everything it is connected into the local network. Let's see, your local network is 172.16 dot something. Local IP is there. So this is connecting. One more application here, it is for billing. Let's see, it is a module of your this web application. When people are click on billing, it is moved there and talk to this particular machine. Same way, you have some other application. Let's say you have some other application reports. So when somebody is on your web page, come on, click on reports, it will talk to this server and give the data to this particular person.
Okay.
So these all internal is why you don't want to these to open to the internet. So this is we can say to keep into the virtual private cloud, means everything these things into a local network. It is only required whenever you will say to go outside. Let's say you want to patch this server, then you want to talk to the internet, then that you can do with the netting, or you can assign the public IP. Not directly public IP, you can do the netting with your this server already have the public IP or internet access, right? So you can do the netting with this to make it accessible on the internet, or that is also one way journey. Outside nobody can come inside, but this machine can go outside and talk to the internet. Okay, so these all things will be come into the this virtual private cloud. Okay.
So I have a you wiped away that image. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So the outside the big square it can be considered as our laptop, and the big box can be considered as any enterprise, and
Yes.
it has a web application where the web application can be accessed via public IP,
Right.
or basically there are two methods, one with a public IP, or if even if you're at a, and if you're even if you're at your in your company, I mean if you're on site and you're working and you have to access certain application, and that is in VPC, then you'll be given a jump box where you go into the jump box and then you can connect to that application.
Yes,
That
you
is
can.
one
Yes,
way, right?
in basic things you can say that, but I will show you more on these things. One of the example I will tell you. You have some machines at your office, right? It is DevOps, Jenkins, anything. Can you connect your machines from home?
Yeah, I connect it with a soft token.
Yes. What is that soft token? It is called the VPN.
Yeah, VPN.
When you connect to the VPN, you will get the same IP address which is your office range, and then you can connect that,
Yeah.
right? But can you directly connect your things with the public? Directly you can connect your office network without VPN token.
No, it has to go through a gateway, and from that gateway only I can enter into my
Yes.
office network.
Okay. In which is your office machine? Can it is connected means you can open the google.com there or internet accessible?
No, once it's connected to the office network, you're saying?
No. From your office server where you have the gate or any other things, Jenkins system installed, from there can you connect to the internet or internet is there running?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So now it is the same example I am giving.
When sorry, when you're saying you are able to connect the internet,
Mean?
I'm trying to understand is once I connect my laptop, it's an office laptop, okay? It's a corporate laptop, and I'll be given a VPN soft token with the RSA. I enter the security code, everything, blah blah. I connect to the gateway, network credentials, everything gets authenticated. I'm in the office network right now.
Yes.
So once I'm in the office network, you're asking whether I'll be able to open a google.com?
No. I am asking about when you have connected to office network. Now you connect to the server.
Okay, any Jenkins server.
Any Jenkins server. From that server has the internet access.
I won't be able to do anything.
Okay. So, but some of the servers where you need the internet connectivity. Okay. Some of the servers are always there. Let's see, I have my patch server that is always connected to the internet and downloaded the patch, and then means we are installing on all other systems. So that server also, if you have the internet, right? So that is also means from internet nobody can access that, because that is always a one way. From inside I can go to the outside, connect the means whatever I want from the internet on port 80 or something, but I can come back. But from outside world nobody can directly ping me that IP. That's called the router netting. Means in the router it is NAT and internal we are using. So we will do all these things here in VPC. So now what is the benefit of a virtual private cloud? Ability to launch instance into a subnet. So till now we didn't talk much about the subnet, but here when we will install a new machine, we will see when we create a virtual private network, we will create a different subnets. Each subnet we will talk about what is the different subnets here and what you can configure. Ability to define custom IP address range inside each subnet. So when you create a subnet, understanding little bit about the subnet or no, so that accordingly I will.
Yeah, you told me about the subnet.
Yes.
So
okay.
I'm still not sure about what's the necessity and advantage of subnet.
Okay, actually it is a network parameters. So when you create a subnet, it is asking about how many IPs you can use or how many you can see Excel.
I know the denomination. If it's 255, then it's /8 IP/8 subnet. If it's 255, it's 16, 24, 32.
It is something like this way. So 2.0 up to it is go up to 10.0.256.255.0. Let's see. So this is all 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 something like this. That is called, if this is the IP range, the subnet will be, it is something like you can say 10.0.0.0.0/ if I am saying 16. It can be anything. It can be 16, it can be /24, okay, it can be /8. What it means the /8, 24 or these things. So when we talk about one network, only one, then it is called 10.0.1.1 up to same way up to 255.
Okay.
Okay, so to 1 dot, last IP will be 1 dot 255. So that is, or 254, because 5 is not in use, it is for, yes, this is 254 IPs you can use here. Okay, so this is called, if this is the IP range of your system, your subnet will be, it is something like 0. Only the last digit 0 means that is your the number of IPs you can use.
Okay.
Okay, in that one, this is called, in other terms you can just cram it right now. So I can make it this way, is 1.0/24. So all the under this last 0/24 means this 8 8 8 24, last is 0. If it is /16, it means 255.255.0.0. What it means in this particular is a big network. Big network means you can change one. Firstly, this is 1.1, 1.2, then it will move to the next network 10.0.2.1, then it will move to 10.0.3.1. Okay, in 3 all 254 IPs will come, in 2 all 254 IPs will come. Same way, next up to 254 into 254, as you can say. You got my point or still not?
Okay. So under 10011, that's the main IP.
Yes.
Okay. That's the main IP. And if you give /16, so it will be 255.0.0, correct?
/16 255 250 0.0, right? True.
0.0. So so the next the subnet will open as 10.0.2.1.
You can open your laptop and run this command, if config.
Okay. Okay.
You got one IP address?
Yeah.
Got it?
I got it.
There is also a broadcast IP, that is always the last IP, 255.
255, correct.
Correct? Now you can see the subnet, it is not here. Run this command netstat -rn.
Okay.
It is somewhere showing here. Oh, it is also not showing here. Wait a minute. Normally in the Linux machine it should come. Okay, normally in Linux machine it automatically come with the 255. What is the subnet mask for this particular machine? It is, you can say it is something like this will come, but here it is the full 255, but that something should come there. Okay, I will try to explain you more and more on this one once we will go through. Let's see. Okay, so how it is, it will launch a new subnet for each. So right now if you see, when you create a new machine, anytime, let's see your, I will just show you, if you created already some machines are there, instances. Yes, if you see this this particular machine, it is also a subnet ID. This is the subnet ID. So it is under which subnet, that you can go onto the subnet and see what is these subnets. If you click on subnets, what is the subnet for this particular is DF9. So we can see here DF9, this one. So it is showing here 172.31.0.0/16, means you can get any IP under this destination, under this particular subnet. Okay, so your IP can be 172.31.1.1, 1.10, 1. Something 50.10, 50 dot something, anything can be happen in these last two, which is last two 0. It can be anything in these two less than 254. You got my point here?
Can you go to your Excel sheet?
Yes, here I give you 10. It is 172.31.0.0.
Okay, so when I say 16 slash 16, so what is the significance of that number 16 over there?
Now it will assign you any IP address, like it can assign you this, it can assign you 172.31.45.66, anything, but not beyond to. Last IP can be only this one, 31.254.254. that is the last IP. Okay,
Okay.
below this one it can assign you any IP address of your system, of your virtual machine. Okay.
Okay. So just now you were explaining, right? 10.0.2.1, 10.0.3.1. What is that?
See, it can be private range is also 3 ranges are there. Firstly 10.0. something, then 172, then third range is 192.168.0.0. These are the private range which are using internal networks. So what is your IP address right now of your laptop?
192.168.1.230.
Yes. So it is under this private network. This is only for internal purpose. This is never be the internet IP. All others are the internet, like we are getting sometime 52 dot something or for our internet IP. So that can be. But for internal network, always they are using these networks. You got my point?
Yeah, that part I understood.
Huh.
You were saying 10.0.2.1 and the next one will be 3.1, and so on, you said.
Yeah.
That part I understood.
Okay, that is always the internal IPs. Means these IPs cannot directly talk to the any other person. Like from your laptop, you can't ping my laptop, right? But
Okay.
if you have the public IP on the Amazon, you can ping that, right? Because
Okay.
you are also internal network, I am also internal network. You have one broadband, that broadband gave you one internal IPs. Same in your area, or same broadband who is accessing, they are also getting the same network.
Okay. One
Let's
last
see.
question. When you say 10.0.10/24, that is 3 times 255.0, right?
Yes.
What is this 24? Why you have to, where do you give this 24? 24 is nothing but the subnet, right?
Yes, that is 3 times. It means 24 means 8, 8, 8.
Yeah, 8.
24.
So, from where did this 10.0.2.1 come into picture?
Which one? 10
100K?
dot.
100K. K.
Okay.
100K.
This is when it is /16. When you say it is /16, then this is your next network. Your next network will be in your company. Okay, I will give you an example. Let's say you have a company with 200 seats. Okay, you have 200 laptops at your in your company. So if you use this /24, you can create up to 254 IPs, right? 1 to 254.
Okay.
Because this is your last IP, 1 dot So this everybody has a one gateway 10.0.1.1. This is everyone use the same gateway. They all connect. 200 IPs will connect with the same one particular. They internally use the slash. You are using 24. But let's see, your company expanded. Now you have the 500 system in your company. Now slash 24 is not enough because you will not get the IP more than 254. So from where you will get the next 200 or 250 IPs? So then you have to subnet this one slash 24 slash 16 and use one more network 10.0.2.1.
Okay.
Now I will give you now these two network can talk to each other because this is come under one subnet. If it is two different subnet, it can't talk with each other. So this is the advantage. If you have the company, all are into the same network, they can talk, they can ping each other, they can talk with each other laptop. Okay, but if it is separate network, then they can't talk.
Okay.
Let's see another example for this one. You have one company account team that is 200 IPs. Another is sales team. They want sales should not talk to the account team, their systems, right? So then in that case, you are both can move to the different subnets. If this is also different subnet, this is also different subnet, they can't talk with each other. Even both has the same range IP address because they had come under the different subnets. Okay.
Let me ask you once again.
Yeah.
10.0.1.1 is one service IP.
10.0.1.1. This is normally used for the first IP is always used for the routing. So leave it first IP.
No, first IP is always used for routing.
Mostly used for the routing.
When you say /8.
Yes.
So it will be 255.0.0.0.
Yes.
And how many subnets will be there under that? When you say 8?
Yes, then you can use like this way. Your first 10.0.1.1, 2.1, 3.1 up to 254.254. I told you, na? This is your last range earlier 10.0.254.254. It can be anything here in first 254, anything into last 254. But if you are giving /8, then it is something like this 254, 254, 254. This is normally company using like who are very big companies like IBM, HP, because they have so many PCs, so many, they need a big, very big network. They are using such a big range. This is called class A IPs. Class A, class B, class C. Something it is coming like this one. Class A is always 10. 172 is class B. Class C is 192. So that is also the part of complete CCNA course or networking. Okay.
Okay, I'll do some research on that.
Yeah, it's a very easy. If you go to the okay, you can go anywhere here. Okay, what is subnetting? You will get so many subnet mask. So it will give you the complete picture. While if you want to go, just go for small any TCP/IP videos or something. They will explain very easily what is the use of these things. Okay. So it is something showing here a little bit, yeah. So you can try to means any particular, you can move to any website. There are a lot of example they have given what is subnetting, how they are using all these things. This is not the appropriate one, but if you want I will search something whatever is very easy, I will share with you.
Sure.
Okay. And then it is ability to define the custom IP address ranges inside each subnet ability to configure route tables between subnets. So where my traffic will route in each subnet, you can also do that thing into the VPC. Ability to configure internet gateway and attach them to the subnet. So now internet gateway is, you can say, is the name telling you internet, who is connect to the internet. So I told you, give one example. In your office there is always a router, internet router, which we are saying when you are accessing any like google.com or anything inside your office. So in VPC it is called the internet gateway, which route your traffic from your internal subnet to internet, like your house, your broadband router, or that device itself work as the internet gateway. Okay, so it will, all the traffic will go to the internet through your broadband gateway. Okay, and ability to create a layered network of resources. So in the different network it will create a multiple, you can create the resources, more fine-grained security settings to protect your cloud assets. So one of the option we have seen earlier, we can give the create the security groups. That security groups, you can say, per EC, per instance level, what the traffic you want to block, what the port you want to block on the particular instance, right? We have last time we have did our how to enable port number 22 for SSH, port number 80, all these things, but that is on the instance level. But in the VPC we can do all this thing on the network level. Okay, in this network this traffic should not come, complete network. Let's say you have the 5000 instance, you will not create a multiple, means you can say in the e-security group you can't change. That means if a single rule you want to create for all 2000 machine, you will not go machine by machine and something, you will block everything on the network. So that's the option it will give you. Extend your network into the cloud with VPN or the virtual private network or virtual private gateway with IPsec VPN tunnel. So that is, tunnel is called, when we are saying that is the big network. Some servers you have in your data center, some of the servers you have on the cloud. So in that case it is called a, from your office to the cloud, it is a secure tunnel, that is called IPsec VPN tunnel. You can create through your on your from your office to AWS cloud. Then you no need to give any public IP to on your machine. You can, it's all connected through a private IPs. That can happen. So layered security, instance security groups, definitely we have already worked, and subnet network ACL. That's the security which I was talking about. You can create the access control list which can block your the things on the network level. Now understanding the default VPC. Okay, when we have created our all earlier instance, there is always a default VPC. So it is saying under the default VPC is a different setup than the non-default VPC. So whenever you are creating any instance, it's automatically created default VPC. Default VPC is meant to allow the user easy access to a VPC without having to configure it from scratch. So it is by default everything. Default VPC all subnet provide an internet gateway attached. So by default in the default VPC it attached internet gateway, means it will automatically assign you one public IP address internet gateway, which directly, if I am giving that IP and I am able to connect to my instance.
Okay.
Okay, so you have seen this one. If you are coming here, any instance, you can see this one, right? So here it is not the public IP. If you are creating a new virtual machine and getting this is the public IP, it is already given. So with this public IP you are connecting to your virtual machine. So that is called the default VPC, because by default whenever you are creating a new instance, in default VPC is created. Each instance added a default private and public IP address. Definitely it's always get a public IP address, always get a private IP address whenever you are creating a new instance. If you delete the default VPC, only the way to get it back to contact AWS, means it will if you delete your this one default VPC. So now default VPC versus non-default VPC. Non-default VPC has private addresses but will not have a public IP address. Means whenever you create a VPC, we will create now, it will only give you the private IP address, will not provide you any public. That if you want for your internal or you say private network, you want to access to the public network, then you can assign the internet gateway. Can only access, yeah.
Non-default VPC have private IP address but
Yes.
will not have a public IP. So you have to create a public IP, then only you will be able to access it from outside.
It's two ways are there. Mean it is always giving you 172, 192 or 10 dot series. It depends upon you when you will create the VPC. Okay, then to connect to the public IP address, there is a you have to create with the elastic IP address. You have to internet gateway. All these things you can do. Then you can access the internet.
Okay.
Can only access resources through elastic IP address, VPN or gateway instance. So that I will tell you how you can configure that and how you will connect this VPC machines from your laptop. Okay, so how you will attach. Now non-default VPC subnet will not have a internet gateway attached by default. Means there is always private network. By default it will not connect any internet gateway by default, but you can definitely you can connect. Then VPC pairing. So VPC pairing is allow you to set up a direct network route between one VPC to another using private IP addresses. So it is called inside Amazon itself you can create multiple VPC. Mean 5 machines are in one VPC, 5 machines in another VPC, 5 machines on another VPC, virtual private cloud. So total 15 machines, but they can't talk with each other if they are on the different VPC. To enable that, you can do the VPC pairing. Okay, instance will be communicate with each other as they were on the same private network. Means if you have the both different private network also, but they can talk after that if you create the VPC pairing on that. So VPC pairing can occur between other AWS account and other VPC within the same region. So if you have the another account also, or then you enable the VPC pairing in two different networks, it will work. It will also work another way also. Let's see. You have the 3 departments. I told you account, sales, marketing, right? But their common folders are same. It is on centralized location. Everybody can access that.
Okay. Your laptop is running on low battery.
Oh yeah, sorry. I didn't see. 1 minute. Let me connect. Yeah. Okay. So now let's see. It is on the your shared folder on the one network, and 3 marketing office, sales office, and your account is 3 different VPC. So it is you will configure now this thing. Your centralized file sharing subnet can access all this network, but they can't talk with each other. You got my point? So it is depends upon your configuration to whom you want to talk, to whom you don't want to talk. So it depends upon your configuration. All about that. VPC. So yeah, I think I have one diagram also. It is something like this one, but here it is showing 10.0.0./16. It's this subnet 1, subnet 2. By default, they can't talk with each other.
Yeah, this picture is good. Let me ask you a question here.
Yeah.
So VPC over here 10.0.0, that is the main IP. That's the service IP, and it's saying /16. So there are.
It is not the IP. It is not the IP.
Sorry?
It is not the IP. It is complete address, subnet address. So you can create the machines in this network. It is something like that. It is one
Okay,
VPC.
10.0 is a network,
Yes.
and under that you have how many subnets?
You can create multiple subnet. It has this picture shown only two subnet, 1.0, 2.0. These two are the different subnets.
I'm talking about the one outside /16.
This under this one under /16, it's created two subnets. I can say that. This is just like this. This is the father. These are two sons under that.
Okay, so when you say 16, 255.255, 8 plus 8, so you can create two subnets.
Yes.
When you have 32, you can create 4 subnets, and each subnet will have 254 IPs, correct?
No, wrong. When you are saying about 10.0.0.0, okay, /16, you can create. I told you can create here 254 into 254. That many subnets. Something, I think 60,000 something subnets you can create. Like you can see here 10.0.1.0, 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, 5.0 up to 254.0. Okay. Then again you start with the next level. 1.1, 1.2.
Okay, so you create 254 subnets, and under that
254 IPs in each subnet.
254 IPs in each subnet.
Right.
Oh, you can create 254 subnets,
Yes.
and each subnet will have 254 IPs. So that is 254 into 254.
Something like that you can understand for the right now, but it is not exactly true. Yes, for understanding you can take it. That thing you can keep it in the mind right now.
Okay.
Once you will understand more about the subnet, then definitely you will come to know. But for little understanding, I don't want to confuse you more on this one. Okay, so you understand that one. Now you understand, if I am giving VPC 10.0.0, I can create so many subnets here. And each subnet, I can create so many virtual machines, like 254 virtual machines. You got my point? A little bit understood? Yeah, still.
Got it, I understand.
Okay. So now the next is VPC scenarios. VPC can public subnet only. VPC with public subnet, single tier application. VPC with public and private subnet. So I gave you the example: the web server, backend, different applications are there, or database are there. That is one VPN means one machine on the public and with the private subnet also. VPC with public and private subnets and hardware connected VPN means it is somewhere you can say extended to your private network or internal your premises. On premises system means your data center. So you have the VPC on the AWS, it has the private IP, public IP, but on the same one of the hardware is connected directly pipeline, one specific VPN pipeline to your data centers, so that your data center, your office, all the employees can access the servers on the AWS. So that is also one of the possibility. VPC with a private subnet only and hardware VPN access. That is normally many enterprises are using the last one. Okay, how it is I am using right now. My company decided these couple of our all internet facing things should be on the cloud. Like my company's let's say IBM.com is a big website. They are running on their one of the data center. They told let it be run on the internet or on the AWS.
Okay.
Right? So it has a public IP and that is definitely it is running there. Whatever that IBM.com required means backend, one of the authentication, second database, that is all are on the cloud. Now my team who is managing database or tomorrow there is some changes are required onto the our web page or you can say on the website. So my team who is sitting inside the IBM office, they can connect that particular website, database or application with the private IP. Because how? IBM create a tunnel between IBM office to Amazon through VPN. So that tunnel itself gives you the private. Right now your office also is running from your laptop on the VPN access, right? Is the token based, that is called the VPN. Once you connect the VPN, you can get a same IP and same range IP what is the office, and you can connect all the office network. It is something like that. You can connect all the Amazon cloud through VPN. Okay, whatever you are using, it is called the point to site, a single point to the your site. When you talk about two sites, it's called the site to site VPN connection. That is called the your data center to Amazon cloud or any other cloud. That's called the site to site. Or it can be also two way also. You have two offices in two data centers or in two different geographic region, one in India, one in US. These both can also connect on the private IP addresses through their VPN tunnel. Okay, that's also called the site to site connectivity. You got my point here?
Okay.
I think you are not able, not understanding all these things. Definitely, it's little tricky. Yeah.
Sorry. I got the point of VPC and got the whole concept of it. So, but when you're talking about the default VPC, non-default VPC, I'm trying to, comprehend the concept of it.
Okay. So, see, this is little bit things are. I will little bit and try to understand. I will try for you. This is your office in US. This is in India. Okay. Let's see. You are sitting in India. You have ever worked in such an organization who has the multiple office?
No.
Okay. So, how big your office? Let's see. Tell me. How many employees are there?
Close to 5,000 plus.
Okay, let's see 5K employees are sitting into this office. You know where is your all data centers, your companies?
There are two data centers here itself.
In the same building or in different buildings?
Different states actually.
So let's see, that is the good option. So now see, you are sitting here, this is your two data centers, right? So how you will connect this data center, because you are the, let's say this is 100 kilometer. There is no 100 kilometer directly one line is there, right? You have the one cable here, one cable 100 kilometer, one cable directly go to another switch, because it's always switch to switch connectivity, right? So when you have the 5,000 employees working on a workstation, there also multiple switches are there. 1, 2. So these all users are connected to these switches, and these two switches is interconnected with each other. Simple example I will give you. Let's see, in your house 10 people are working. All want to in the same network. What you will do? You will, all the 10 people will connect to one centralized device that is called switch, who has 10 ports. So one port for your laptop, one port for my laptop. I am not talking about Wi-Fi, I am talking about physical connection. Okay?
Direct LAN connection. Right?
LAN connection. All 10 people are connected with the 10 port switch, right?
Okay.
Let's see now employees or you are at home, 20 people came. Now all these 20 people want to talk to each other, right? At same time, anytime. So what you have? You bought one more switch, 10 ports. Let's see, both are has the 12 ports. Let's see 12 ports. So 12 people are connected here. Now 8 people are connected on this switch.
Okay.
This is all your VPC, your internal network. You are not ever going, any traffic is going on the internet. This is internal, you talk with each other. Something like this. Okay. Now, who is attached to this particular switch? 8 people, they are isolated. These 12 are isolated with each other. Means these 12 can talk to each other, these 8 can talk to each other. Because this is connected with these particular ports, and this is particular connected to these 8 ports.
Okay.
Now you understand, let's see, these are two different VPC. This is different virtual private cloud, this is different virtual private cloud. You got my point up to here?
Yeah, yeah.
Now you want to talk each other. This person want to share some data to this person. How it will communicate? Now what I will do, one port from here, I will connect a cable, physical cable with these two. Means
Okay.
if I am sending the data traffic to this particular system, it will see it is this switch will say it is always there. This switch has all the MAC address of your laptops. When I am sending a packet, it will come to this switch and see, oh, this is not in my network. This is, I have this information about this switch. Might be this switch has this packet or this MAC address. So it will forward this particular packet to this switch, and this switch will see, yes, this MAC address is connected to me with this port, and it will share the data or send the data to this port. It is something like this concept. So these connectivity with each other, different switches, it's you can say that's way they are connected with each other. So when you talk about your office, how this works, it is not a single line or a single switch which is like in a home, you connect from here to here, right? Because this is the distance is 100 kilometer. So how you will connect? So now this particular site has a ISP provider, internet service provider. This office also has a ISP, internet service provider. Both are giving with each other one a public IP, here also and here also. This public IP, they are connected to this, and on the same side, one IP is connected to here. So all these are now connected with each other with the same way how you are connected here. Little bit terminology change. We call it here IPsec tunnel or VPN. Okay, that IPsec tunnel, what it tell? It is telling about connect these two. It is always internal. There is a lot of confusion. If I am telling you, it is always phase 1, phase 2 type of communication. It is happening. Okay. Then it is sharing the keys. There is always a keys here. So then it will connectivity happen. In the back end, it will tell which IPs range internal. Here also it will tell which IPs range internal. Then they will start talking with each other. Okay, so it is little bit confusing, but definitely this is the way how the means complete world is now connected with each other.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit interesting as well.
Yeah, yeah. Means it is the it's actually thing is how multiple sites is connected. It's very confusing when you heard about acquisition, right? A big company bought a small company. When that small company bought, they immediately can't connect with their network, because
Yeah.
might be internally they are also using the same IPs what I am using internally, the same IP. That migration will take some of the couple of months. That is because they have to change all these things, IP addresses change, infrastructure, IP tables, all these things they need to change. So it will take time for all these things. Okay. So now it is a little bit telling about 5 VPC per region, 5 internet gateways. By default, you can increase this equal to your VPC limit. One internet gateway attached to a subnet at a time, 50 customer gateways. So it is always now, this is older data, it's increased now. Okay. So how you can, we will start our first practical. How you create your VPC. So let's talk your VPC. There is always I will talk about the default VPC. So default VPC or versus non-default VPC it talking about, right? So default, whenever you create any instance, it automatically create a VPC. So let me delete Let me try. Okay, that I will show you. Means if you click over this one, what is the VPC ID? This one, right? Go here. Okay, I will just create a new instance. Let's see. Select. So when you are come here, configure instance. See here, when you talk about here, automatically one default it is coming 6B, that is. So that is always a default VPC by default created for you. Okay. So if you delete this one, you have to talk to the AWS to get it back. From this default, this one, okay, you have a subnet. So each subnet has some of the IPs range. So see here, in this particular subnet 2B, whatever this, these many IPs you can create 4091. Here also 4088. In this one 4091. So these many IPs you can mean these many instances you can create into this particular subnet by default VPC. Under VPC there is a subnet. So we will create now. I am clicking on. If you come on the starting, this is the VPC. Okay, you click on the VPC. So here already two VPCs are there. Start the VPC wizard. So this is coming the first time. So VPC with the single public subnet, VPC with the public and private subnet, VPC with public and private subnet and hardware VPN with only the which 4 options we talked about, right? So we will single public subnet, public and private. Let's say, and you can select this one. So now what is the option? It is saying about what is the IP address you want to give, VPC name. Okay, I will start from not the VPC wizard, back, just directly set, cancel and exit your VPCs and create a VPC. When you create a new VPC, it will ask you, because here it was giving you by default this option 10.0./16. So it is up to you what the particular subnet you want to choose. So let's example, we will take the example here. This is we take it as a exa VPC. So what is the particular subnet you want to choose? 10.192. Let's see your home network is 192.168.0.0. So I want to give the same subnet here /24. You got my point? So in hello?
Yep.
Yeah. So when you create, you want to just give a name and what the particular network you have to give in the VPC. Right? Definitely in the VPC you have to create a subnet. In subnet you have to give the sum of the IP addresses. So I have given this particular subnet my IPv4 address. Here is the good option, default or dedicated. What is the mean of default and dedicated? It is not your default VPC. Default VPC, if I click on the
IP,
yeah.
sorry, when you give the IP/24, it is called as a network, right?
Yes.
Okay.
It is not the
I'm just getting the terminologies.
Yeah. So if you click here, the range of the IP addresses for your VPC means what the complete range you want to give here. Okay, so that I have the range I have given. So now here, what is you have to select default or dedicated. So default means when you create the instance, you change it. Dedicated means here it is not the default VPC, it is dedicated means all these VPC will create on one particular hardware, dedicated hardware in a one particular. When you click here dedicated, under this one, this VPC, all the your virtual machine will create on the same dedicated hardware. When you select the default, means when you create the VPC or when you create the instance, you can change accordingly. You want to keep it default or you want to keep it dedicated. But if you click it dedicated, then all the machine will be created on a dedicated hardware. Okay, so I would just want to keep it my one VPC on the dedicated hardware. Click here, yes. So see,
What is the advantage of dedicated?
sorry.
What is the advantage of dedicated?
See, it is in the one rack, it is everything on the one place. You can say that. Then you have to, means according to your requirement, you can move in the one system dedicated, then you can choose on the different availability zones. But you can say my all the private network, it is the dedicated in, under one system. Your latency, other things are very minimum in that, because if it is in a single system or it is the dedicated hardware or in the single rack, it will not go go to the different racks or latency issue will not be there. It is because in a single hardware or in a single rack, it is something like that, you can say. Okay, so now this is, you have created EXA VPC. This is your first step to create the VPC. Now under VPC you need to create the subnets. You have seen this diagram, right? So one VPC you have created here. Now you have to create this subnets, subnet 1, subnet 2. So for that we click on the subnets. Already few subnets are there, we will not talk about that. Create a new subnet. So your first subnet is 192.168.1.0. it is, let's say your name is given, you are giving like this. Okay, this is under which VPC? See here all the VPC you can see. So our VPC is EXA VPC, right? So it is already showing here what is the subnet, means complete network. Let's try if I'm selecting something else, my test, that is 10 dot. I am giving the name, but this is the name only, it is not the IP address. Okay, so you want to create the subnet under your VPC, so that is EXA Infotech, this particular range. This is not the IP address I am something, I am just giving the name, so that I will keep in mind 192.168.1.0, it is the name of a subnet. It's not the right now you are selecting any subnet. Okay, so here you have to select availability zone. So let's see, I am 1.0 subnet, I am selecting 2.a. Now you have to tell about the IP address range here. So what the range will come under this one? Let's see, I am giving 192.168.1.0/24. Means in this subnet only 254 IPs can be configured. You got my point? Because it is /24. Only last that 0 it can change to 1, 2, 3, 4 up to 255. Got it? No. It is not into this one, it is into this only, right? /24 192.168 1.0.
Maybe you want to give 1.1.
Oh yeah, I want to give a under VPC. Oh, okay. Sorry, I what biggest mistake I have done? I have given here 24, not 16. Actually, it should be 16 here. Now under 24, I am trying to give 24. That is wrong actually. So what we have to do? We have to change here. My this particular VPC, I have to action edit CDIR. We can, or I have to delete it. Okay, Let me delete this thing. Create a new VPC. The name I have given Exa VPC 192.168.0.0/16 we have to give here. Dedicated, yes. Now under this one I have to create the multiple subnets. So first subnet I am creating under this range 192.168.1.0. so that is which sub, this is my VPC availability zone. I am selecting different, I will each subnet I will move to the different availability zone, so that if all are in the different one, it will not by default talk. So we have to see this thing 1.0/24. Yes, great. So this is in 2A. Now 2B, create subnet, one more 192. I am creating 3 different subnets. 2.0. Now it is same VPC, but here I will choose the 2B west 2.0/24. And now I am creating third subnet 192.168.3.0 under VPC. This one reference is 2C network 192.168.3.0/24. Now if you see this picture, it is same like it is he is created 2, we have created 3 subnets. Got it? Subnet 1, subnet 2. It is availability zone data center 1, availability zone data center 2. We have also choose A, B, C availability zone. Got up to here? Got it? So this is 1, 2, 3. So if you come here, see here routing table, it is showing the VPC address destination. Okay. So now once this is configured, create subnet, we have to come on the routing tables. So by default, whenever you are creating, you have to create a route table. What is the routing table? Where my traffic will flow. I have created the subnet. That subnet where my traffic will go for the to talk with other subnets. So I am creating a routing table. So name you can give Exa route. So this routing table will for which VPC? A routing table specifies how packets are forwarded between the subnets within your VPC, the internet and your VPN connection. If I didn't give this routing table, they can't talk with each other. So now I am creating a routing table for that, which is for this particular VPC, so that it can talk with each other. New subnet, routing table. So route says for this particular subnet we have created a routing table. Okay.
Okay.
A little bit clear up to here.
Okay, but I have to go through, do some research, do some labs, more on this.
Yes.
Compared to the old plans.
Okay.
Understand more.
So now I have just created one VPC, one subnet, 3 subnets and one routing table. Got it? We have the option of internet gate. Okay, what we can do, we can stop it here. You can little bit research on these things, otherwise it's all going as a bouncer for you right now.
Yeah.
Right? So
You created those 3 subnets and you named them /24. I was trying to understand why did you name them as 24?
name as 24. it is not the name. When I create this one,
1.0, 2.0, 3.0.
yes, what is that? Slash 24 ki under this particular subnet, how many
You
I
can, you can keep it 254 into 254 into 254.
254 255 into dot 255 dot 255 dot 0. It is means that
Yeah, 3
Mean-
255s.
if I will, okay, now I will just show you so that might be you will little understand. Let's you are creating a virtual machine now. Let's create a launch a virtual machine. Directly come fast here. Yes, next. See here. Now the network is there. You are selecting your VPC. Why it is not selecting? Okay, I have to create. Wait a minute. I will just create a Exa IT. Attach to VPC. Okay, I will just show you. I will check this thing why it is not. So when you select any particular network, so this is coming like we have given 192. It is showing 10.1.0. In which subnet you want to create your machine? If I select this particular 10.0.1.0, I will select this one. So it will get the IP address only maximum 251. What the IP address it will get? 10.0.1. anything. Anything means up to 254. Okay, it can be 1.1, 1.2, 117, 1120, 250, 200, any IP it can get. So that is the different under different subnets, multiple IPs. It is something this picture. This is the subnet.
Can have 254 subnets.
No. Up to in this subnet, you can create 255 machines.
Okay.
So that IP address will be something like this: 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, first virtual machine, third virtual machine, fourth, all IPs it can assign one by one. In this particular subnet, you again create 251 virtual machines.
Okay.
Okay, so that is the benefit of the subnet. In each subnet, how many machines you can configure, and they can talk with each other or not, it depends. Means how you configure your VPC, all other things. Okay, so little bit you can try to today read about the network and subnet. Might be it will give you little bit more. Tomorrow you can understand because it is everything on this network only. Because VPC is completely talk about the subnet, routing table, network, VPC. Because they will talk with each other or they will not talk to each other. It's all about your which subnet you have configured, how you configured your subnet, all these things.